Welcome to the finale of the Human Resources event of Insight 2022. After several grueling rounds and presentations, we have narrowed a total of 138 teams to just five. The round that the participants will be presenting today is Captives in the Open. The problem of prisons in India is a long discussion that rarely takes the spotlight. Especially after the COVID 19 pandemic, there has been a lot of there has been a lack of proper sanitation, hygiene, excessive occupancy. Evidence clearly shows the need for improvement. The round revolves around the Karnataka Assembly passing a bill for creating a prison development board. The participants have to allow private open prisons in the state, in which private parties will be allowed to take over prison structures in the form of open prisons. The company New Life Corp is investing in this project, and as the HR head of the project, the participants have to present their solution. I think we can move on to our first team.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Can I know your names, please? Your team 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I know your names,
Yeah,
please?
Team 30. My name is Aditya S. Tachiril,
Okay.
and my partner is Madhumita Gopalakrishnan.
And I'm Madhumita Gopalakrishnan.
Are you guys aware of the timings for your presentation?
Yeah, 4 minutes plus 4 minutes.
Yeah,
plus
we'll be
5 minutes.
having 4 minutes plus 5.
Awesome. So I won't interrupt you while you're speaking, but at the end of 4 minutes, I will ask you questions, and please stick to your timings. It'll be extremely helpful. All right. Can you start your presentation now?
Yes, sure.
All right.
I shall give you a 1 minute
Also,
warning.
judges, will it be all right if my camera is off? I'm facing internet issues.
Right, sure.
Yeah, and when your
All right.
presentation is
Okay.
going on, I'll give you a 1 minute warning in the
Is the
chat
screen
box.
visible?
Yes, it's visible. Did you hear what the operations team said? When you have 1 minute remaining for your presentation, he'll give you a warning, a written warning. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
All right. So, good evening, judges. Along with the prisoners who need reformation, it is the prison that also needs to change. Presenting to you captives in the open. So we are from New Life Corporation, and we will be presenting to you the HR aspects of our project along with the Prisoner Development Board of India. So we'd like to begin with the strategies to retain welfare and mental health of our employees and the inmates. So to start with, we'll be having mental health programs and mindful health training programs to make sure the negativity doesn't get to you and to make sure it doesn't affect you mentally, so that you can stay strong for the inmates and they have a positive environment to stay in. And we also follow an anti-discrimination or harassment policy, which involves which involves no discrimination from the employee's perspective and from the inmate's perspective, and we wish to maintain a sense of professionalism and positivity. We'll also be conducting webinars and online programs for all by all the employees who don't think they'll be able to present themselves in front of the inmates because of the negativity or the mental the effect that it'll have on their mental health. Moving on to the
Okay, so
eligibility
moving
for
on to
our
the
open prisoners.
eligibility for
Yeah,
so the
Adi,
eligibility
go
for
ahead.
open prisoners is that they should be declared mentally sound by the authorized body, and they shouldn't have done a serious degree of they shouldn't have a serious degree of a criminal record. So this will ensure a safety among the inmates, and they can remain confident that they are secure in the environment, which is very important in the reformation process. And then moving on to the facilities provided, like we believe that the inmates, even though they have committed crimes, are human by nature, obviously, and they should be provided a humanitarian designed cells, which is open in nature. And then they should be very should have utmost sanitary conditions, and there should be medical checkups and frequent RT-PCR tests in this day and age. And we believe that religion, some inmates may turn to religion for reformation. So worship areas also provided. Moving
All
on.
right. Moving on to the security measures that security protocols that we'll be following. We'll be following 24/7 CCTV and monitoring surveillance to make sure there isn't anything bizarre that happens. Adequate and trusted security staff in order to make sure there aren't any bribes that go on between the employees or any of that, and efficient communication amongst the staff members to monitor what each and every inmate is doing and to make sure no one runs away from the prison, and a gated and secure open space to make sure they have an open space, they have their liberty, but at the same time they can't step out of a particular boundary.
Okay, so moving on to the HR budget of the project, we estimate the funds received in annually to be rupees 1 crore for the state, and then we apportion 40% of it to security staff and 60% of it to operation staff such as training, development, sanitation, etc. And also we ensure that the amount paid to the security staff will always be higher than the public prisons to ensure that they stick with us.
All right. So moving on to the training and development, opportunities for the inmates. There will be skill development opportunities like probably making crafts, so cleaning an area, so that they can learn something out of it. At the same time, they can produce some sort of service or good out of it. Completion of education. Most of the people are pushed into a jail environment or a prison environment before they get to finish
Your
complete
time for
their
presentation is up.
education. All right, Aditya, would you like to just conclude it?
Okay, so
I'm
we
sorry,
would like to
guys.
conclude by saying this. Okay.
Okay, quickly wrap it up.
Yeah, okay. So we would like to conclude by saying that the key to reformation of the inmates lies inside the prison. Thank you for your time.
Okay. All right. Great presentation. Can we go back to
And
the
now we're open
first
to
slide?
questions. All right.
Go to the first. Okay. So, can you tell me exactly what type of mental health programs you're looking at?
Okay, so we're looking at mental health programs with respect to making sure they still have a positive mindset, and the employees are still driven to work and be around
No, I
all these
understand
inmates to
your
make sure that they aren't depressed or they don't have any thought of any sort of
Madhumita.
thoughts that provoke any. Yeah.
I understand the outcome of what you would like your mental health programs to be like. So, give me an example of what type of mental health program you're taking. Like you say, you want to treat their depression or you want to
All
ensure
right.
positivity. So, give me a type of
All right.
mental health program you're looking for.
All right. So we'll have psychologists or people who work under the mental health sector to come and talk to all these people. We'll basically assess how they're performing mentally, to make sure they have
So
a
you have
like
counseling.
just have a happy mindset. We'll ask them questions to make sure that, to see if the response are negative or see if the response are positive, to see we'll ask them about their experience, how they've been doing. So basically
Okay, so
probably
are you
conduct a
having
survey. And
a behavioral evaluation, or are you having counseling to help them? Like, are you having an evaluation to see if they're fit for duty, or if you're going to have counseling to help
Um,
them? They're
uh,
two very different things.
so I think it's a
we would like to
combination
have,
of both, I think. Yeah, so I
Okay,
yeah,
so
we would
is
like
this
to
the
have
only
feedback
type?
systems,
so
and
I
then,
pers
yeah,
yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Okay, guys, is this going to be the only type of mental health program you're going to have?
Not necessarily. We will have in-person mental health programs that through probably answering a questionnaire, or probably talking to them in person and making sure they're
Okay, so
doing
that
all
is,
right, because
is your
it's not a
question?
very positive environment to be in.
All right, okay. You know what? Let's just move on to the next one. Go to the next slide. All right, how do you declare someone mentally sound? Like, what's your benchmark for that?
Okay, so like some like like some there are authorities like authorized people like medical centers that declare people as mentally sound or not. So like that is what we meant.
So we'll make sure they don't have any we don't have any thoughts that could be probably influencing the other inmates to go on a negative track. We'll make sure they're they're they don't come
Also
up with ideas, they don't provoke other people.
basically we want to ensure that the inmates we take in have a scope for reforming. That's what we mean. The reason for the crime is not based on something
Yeah.
we can control.
So
That's what
one
we.
such Yeah, so one such example of being mentally sound is not being violent. I think some people get really violent and get very aggressive when it comes to staying in the same cell for a very long time. So after a point of time, because of their mental health, they become extremely violent. So that's one example if that's what you're looking for. Am I audible?
Hello.
I think the judge has an internet issue. Um,
Okay.
Judges?
yeah, and the judge has an internet issue. Um,
All
can you
right.
go to the previous slide for a minute? Yeah, Shruti, are you
Guys,
taking over? Yeah.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Shruti,
Can you hear
continue.
me? All right,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, you can continue.
So basically, I just wanted to know that you are talking about violence in the history of their before prison and after prison comparison, right?
Yeah, that, and how they could probably develop mannerisms of violence. So that's also something we're
All right.
taking into consideration.
Okay, so can you go to your budget quickly?
Yeah.
All right. So in this, why is your security less? Are you going to focus on basically just how you like? Why is your security less? Like that, isn't that
Okay.
the most important thing? You're
Yeah.
keeping a prison that's free.
No, security is one of the most important aspects. I agree, and
Okay.
the reason for this is because that it is basically a perimeter security, and we believe that that doesn't require like as much of intense security measures as in regular
Your time
public
for rebuttal
prisons,
is up.
and also okay.
Okay. Thanks, Arnav. Thank you guys. A few things. I can I give feedback now for like a little bit, or will
Yes,
that?
Shruti, maybe for 1.5 minutes, maybe.
All right. Okay. So a few things.
Hello, guys.
Team 16-9, right?
Yeah, right.
Lekha and Manav.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Are you guys aware of your timings?
Yes, 4 minutes of presentation and I guess 5 minutes of rebuttal.
So Arnav here will let you know over text when you have 1 minute left. I will not interrupt your presentation while you speak, but when it's time for my rebuttal, I will ask a lot of questions and I might cut you off in between. I might
Yeah.
not be looking at you while you speak because I'm taking notes on my laptop, so I can ask you later. Okay?
Understandable.
Awesome.
Okay,
Whenever
so
you're ready.
can I share the screen? Is everyone here?
Yeah.
1 second. Yeah. Manav, you can start.
Okay. Prison redrafting strategy. Well, in response of the recent light that has come across, it is definitely a very serious concern that many of the prisoners they do not find a good accommodation, and definitely even though they may have committed crimes, but in the end they are human beings, and we believe in providing them a second chance. So our New Life Corp aims at opening private institutional centers and open prisons to give them a new chance in life and provide them a better form of prison, whereas not only do they have to serve the punishment, but we'll also make them sure that they can reform and do something better for the society, and once they return back to society they can do something worthwhile. Next slide please.
Yes, as from a New Life Corp, we believe in reform of a new, turning them into a new person and changing their own whole personality and perspective of life. Next slide. Employee welfare strategy. First of all, we have to focus on our employees. So we will have improved remuneration system. Is we will give them proper incentives. We will pay them well so that they can serve the people, our Indians, our people well. Okay. Revamped healthcare package is now because of this COVID situations, our employees are risking their lives too. So to what encourage them to do better, we will give them healthcare package not only for them but for their families too. So create better work environment with government aid. Now people, we have to inculcate patriotism in our people, in our employees, and we definitely work for people, for others, our Indians, our welfare. So we have to through the government we have to create a better work, and we will be creating a better work environment for them, and we'll be making sure they stay loyal and serve really efficiently.
Yes. So basically, as I would like to add, since they are going to be working in such a risky environment, we are making sure that number one, meet they do have increased pay. Number two, the health package will include things for the medical attention, especially the mental health, which can be definitely stressful considering the new form of environment possible. But with the support of the government and along with a revised healthcare package, we can definitely do something good for them. Next, we have the eligibility for the convicts. The convicts that are allowed are if they have committed crimes that come under the Indian Penal Code, they will not be allowed into the facility. The basis on which they will be allowed will be based on the rectification realization. Basically, according to the severity of their crime, and after a proper thorough judgment, we shall also appoint a panel that can definitely judge what the seriousness of the crime, and if it is possible to definitely reintroduce them into society through our program. We could call it a program because we would like to do something better. And then finally, people under certain circumstances. This could include people that are under trial, people could have been caught for maybe sedation cases, and they may not have appropriate, what do we say, measures. It is we can say that sometimes people do get arrested quickly. It may be because we need to take quicker actions to ensure that there's national security. Thus, we shall also take those into priority. Next slide, please.
Next is the facilities provided. We will be providing them with a first class library. Library is a place, and it is known for a place to learn and reform. So library will be definitely one of the main prioritized facility for them. Rehabilitation centers for cases of addiction. Now, few people would have committed crime for dealing drugs or drug addiction or alcohol addiction or tobacco addiction, but they all deserve a rehabilitation center. They all deserve another chance. We need to
change the way they look at things and their priorities. So cleaner accommodation and additional facilities we will be providing them sanitization.
Your
Sanitize.
time for presentation is up, guys.
Can we run through the slides quickly? Yeah, because after this it is just
Yeah, sure. Just go through it really quickly. Don't explain anything unless it's like super
The security
unique.
measures are strict surveillance, technological support, that is improved technological support. Then it will be placed in the outskirts of the city to avoid public confrontation. And then finally, we have increased security personnel with the
Move
help
on.
of government and private. Yes,
Yes.
next one.
HR budget. This is
Okay, don't need to explain this. We'll
Okay.
get to it next.
yeah. Training and development opportunities. We will
Okay,
be.
we'll get to this as well later.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I just want to see the slides. Okay.
on.
Next slide. We will all get to all of this. All right.
And-
Go back to the first slide. Okay. So I want to know first about, you said something about increased remuneration, right? Can you tell me how are you going to decide that increased remuneration system? Like that, how are you going to, is it going to happen regularly, annually, or just like a one-time raise that you're doing?
Well, it's not going to be a one-time review. We'll definitely try to increase it annually because people need the incentive. Since it is a much more riskier environment, we need to provide them with proper incentives. We do understand the plight of our employees.
Awesome.
Because they're
all right,
criminals,
third.
even because of the situation right now. So we taking all of that into consideration. Our employee should be satisfied, and that's what we ask from the government.
Okay, so I want to get to the main essence of this, presentation you're showing me. It's like you're telling me that you don't believe in prisoner reformity, the kind of language that you've used to describe some of your programs, right? Like, okay, let's just get to the fact. Let's go to point number 3, patriotism, right? You know, patriotism is a very risky topic to focus on as a crux for employee motivation, right? There are, patriotism can be taken to any type of level. It can even become to very big. There'll be a lot of xenophobia and things like that happen in the name of patriotism. I'm not saying it's bad to have, but maybe that shouldn't be the crux of the entire thing. What about altruism? What about things like that? Why don't you focus on more positive outlooks of giving back to society by reforming people who probably made a mistake?
Well, definitely. Well, what we actually try to explain through this is basically changing the mentality. There may be cases in which people hate crimes. Is definitely hate crimes are something that are definitely conducted. So if we could actually revamp their mind, and actually the sense of patriotism would basically be a form of brotherhood, and something that makes them acceptable towards society. So yes, we didn't mean to stretch. I do understand that it's actually a very risky territory, but what we have is
but what we try to
So you're going to stick to patriotism. So you're going to stick to patriotism. Is that the thing here?
See, we won't stick to patriotism. Will definitely be one of the reasons to motivate our employees to work.
Yes,
and
but it won't be the sole reason, definitely.
To serve to serve our people, to serve, it's like inculcating humanity more than patriotism.
Okay, so the entire, all right, fine, we will get to that. Next slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
What crime doesn't come under the Indian Penal Code, and what gets them put in jail if it doesn't come under the IPC?
Indian Penal Code are the serious crimes. The examples are murder, attempt for murder, or attempt for suicide, or
Okay, wait. Attempt to suicide is
actually
a serious crime. And you will not give eligibility for convicts if they probably got put in jail for attempt to suicide.
No, definitely not. As in, there are people under certain circumstances. So such people, they will be evaluated. We will keep a panel and make sure that.
Have you heard of crime of passion? Have you heard about crime of passion?
Crime of passion. Well,
yes,
could you?
It's like a particular event that triggers a human being to create convict, to do a heinous crime, which they normally wouldn't as a course of nature. There are serial killers, and there are people who kill on a one-time basis because something really broke in them.
See, that is definitely up to the government to decide. Yes. We don't have anything to say that.
Exactly.
You have
and
psych evals, you have behavioral. You
yes,
said
exactly.
you.
We definitely do.
Don't you think remorse is something that you need to look at if you're going to look at convicts as human beings?
Definitely, but you have to see. We may try to. We are definitely trying to give people a better understanding life. But you have to understand that there are under some circumstances where we cannot take any risks, because at that time maybe our sympathy could lead into something worse. But that doesn't mean that we are not giving anybody equal opportunity.
No,
We are
I'm not
definitely
asking. I'm not
examining.
asking you to be biased and say, we need to look at them like they've become better individuals. What I'm saying is, maybe you don't have to judge them on the basis are they still bad people? Do you understand?
No.
You can,
That's
instead
not
of asking the
exactly.
question, can they change? You're asking, are they still bad people? So it looks like you're trying to vilify your convicts into remaining the same instead of making them actually eligible to go into the open system.
Okay, no. That's not exact. That's not what we were trying to say at all. What we were trying to say is we cannot risk the other convicts. We cannot risk the other inmates who are trying to heal and people who need extra focus on. So these people who come fall under the Indian Penal Code, or like you said, crime of passion, they will be kept under extra security, but not under our guidance. We are here for people to heal. We've just started.
Okay, our time
So,
for rebuttal is up, guys.
Okay, and thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Before you go, I would definitely like to give you guys some feedback. Can I give
Yes,
feedback? guys are Team 75, right?
Yes.
Awesome. First of all, congratulations for making to the finals. So I'll be judging your round today. You are aware of your timings?
Yeah.
All right. So Arnav here will be keeping track of your presentation. At the 3-minute mark, he will give you a written warning, and at 4 minutes, he will unmute and tell you that it's going to stop. After that, I'll ask you questions, so I won't be interrupting you while you present. And please try to wrap it up fast, okay? Just read out the points that are important in the slide. I might not be looking at you because I'll be taking notes to ask you questions later, okay? So don't mind.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you can start.
We're ready. Can we start?
Yeah, we can start.
Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So a very good evening. It's Team 75, and here's a presentation.
Yeah. So now discussing about the eligibility into the open jails. So the first one would be a good conduct. So when looking into the attitudes and the behavior, when we find that there's a bettering behavior of the jailers, we can find them to be eligible to these cells. Second would be the nature of crime or the intensity of the crime that they have committed. So if it's less serious, they become eligible again. So the third is the change in the mindset. That is, if they are in a position or if they aspire or desire to completely detach themselves from their criminal backgrounds, then again they find themselves to be eligible. Now, the next is the skill based. Now, those who have a good hold on certain skills, those would also find way to these cells. Yeah. So next is the employees welfare. So talking about the employees welfare, we wish to provide them job stability, and next is healthcare benefits to their families. Next, to them as well as their families. The next is morning yoga sessions. Well, this is taken into consideration to ensure the mental well-being of the employees. Then is the increase in the number of leaves. Yeah. Now discussing about the code of conduct, it is the first one would be the respect for the cellmates. It would be mandatory to take up at least one skill-based course so that they could polish the skills that they have a hold on. Next is the incentives on skill-based course performance. So they could be paid with better food for the work that they have done, maybe. Next is complying with the jail authority orders, prohibition of any kind sort of unethical orders, and prohibition of involvement in physical fights within the cells.
Yeah, now talking about security, setting up CCTV cameras near the borders, surrounding the walls with electrical fences and guards near the fences to make sure that even though it's an open cell, if in case any person inside the jail tries to escape it, there are adequate facilities. Then the most important point, training and development. Providing in-jail courses so that ensuring that the people are, when they get out of the jail, they are employable. Then employment companies, as a part of their CSR initiatives, can employ these people, of course, not at high levels, high positions, but at entry levels. Then mandate NPO participation or NGO participation, rehabilitation, religious, spiritual events. This will help to bring out the best in them. Then also make handcrafted material and sell it in the market. So the structure, this is how. So the main is the head of the entire jail, and then a few subheads, and then a few jailers below them. So there'll be one. So the proceeds that will be received from the government, 40% will be allocated to salaries, 40% salaries of the employees, 40% to the running costs, and 20% to the training and development. So all the proceeds that we get from the sale of handcrafted material, so 50% of that will be devoted to employees' health insurance and all, and the earnings that all the people in the jail earn. So out of those, 20% will be transferred to employees' provident funds to ensure that they have a better, secure, and a more secure future. Just
a substitute of taxes. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
Just
can
a
you guys
minute.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Shruti.
All right. Can you share your presentation again?
Yeah.
So, a couple of questions. So, can you give me a couple of crimes that you think will be excluded from the eligibility criteria?
Maybe the extreme ones, such as the ones convicted for involving in terrorist activities and mass kinds of murders.
Yeah. Mass
Yeah,
murders, mass bombardings, and all.
yeah.
One
Okay.
murder can be considered, but it's generally excusable because the mindset of the person can change.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying one murder is okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, how exactly are you going to evaluate a change in mindset?
Based on their behavior, studying their behavior and the way they've been interacting with their cellmates, based on the way they've been talking to or respecting their the jail authorities there. So based on that.
So that's it. That's the only evaluation you're going to have.
That's one of the things that are going to get counted. But to summarize, it'll be a collection of everything. For example, how much efforts are they going to put into the skills that they've been allotted or they've chosen, or the nature of crime that they've committed. So change in mindset is a very
That's a really
it's a very
vague like measurement. It's a really vague measurement. It's like you're only taking what you see. You're not personally. Have you heard of parole boards in the US?
No.
Okay, so you know what parole is? Okay, so parole is basically when convicts tell people, yeah, I've changed, I'm ready to, reintegrate with society ahead of their sentence time. Okay, so in order to do that, there will be a parole board that will evaluate them based on many factors. Like, for example, historical data, like you said, their behavior and stuff like that, how many crimes the nature of the crime, all of that. Then they'll also look at evaluations by psychologists, by statement by the prisoner himself, stuff like that. So I was looking more towards what you would bring in that. But okay, let's look at skill based. What type of skill based do you think a prisoner would have for you to deem him eligible?
Skill based, we basically mean that not exactly kind of skills, but the kind of efforts that that person is putting into the skills. So the kind of passion that he holds for that skill.
Okay, so what kind of skills do you hope to train your prisoners on?
All kinds of skills, like maybe carpenter, or Joel had a few more in his mind.
So, like music. I mean, if there's someone passionate for singing, maybe we could.
Okay, so let's look at it like this. You have 100 prisoners in your prison, okay? Let's say 2 prisoners want only music, 5 prisoners want carpentry, maybe 50 want to watch, probably do cooking, stuff like that. Don't you think there's a lot of capital waste if you're going to cater to like 1 prisoner or 2 prisoners? Because if you say you can do whatever skill you want in the world, somebody will come up with calligraphy, which probably many people won't have, right? Music, a lot of people want to learn classical, or then they want western, and then they want instruments. In the instruments there are various types. Do you understand there's a lot of capital waste that's going on there?
Ma'am, but ma'am, taking the above 3 points, maybe there might be a good amount of filtration happening, so that maybe a small number of people are eligible to come in, so that we can train them.
Yeah, ma'am, we'll go on the basis of what the majority people say. For example, in music, I do agree there are many. I
so
mean,
it's
like
like this: you're
instrumental
gonna ask your prisoners. You're gonna ask your prisoners what you want, like probably giving them hope, and then you're just going to let them down by saying, "No, dude, it's not possible."
No, in the very beginning itself, we let them know that only the
let's move on.
4 or 5 skills.
You said material handcraft, like 50% will go into some health insurance, where does the remaining 50% of the material handcraft go? The amount for that?
Yeah. So 50% goes into health insurance and 50% goes into incentives for food. So here there was performance-based incentives.
But it's not
introduced.
yours to put into. See, I get that you want to give them health insurance and stuff like that, but 50% is a lot. That money is supposed to go into their funds, right? They are the ones who toiled and made the handcrafts. So who are you to decide 50% of their salary goes into health insurance? Maybe they want to give. Maybe you can get a separate plan for it where they only have to pay like probably $200, from their whatever they earn, which will be a lot compared to what they earn, right? So you can't decide that. And the remaining 50%, where does it go? Into incentives.
It goes to employees' health insurance, so that their
The time for rebuttal is up.
All right, thank you so much, guys. So a little bit of feedback. I basically loved some of the points you had, but I feel that they could have been well thought of. I mean, of course, this is your joining us on video call? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah.
All right, hi. So you are you guys aware of your timings?
Yes. It's
Yeah,
4 minutes to
so
present, right?
Yeah, so you have 4 minutes to present. At 3 minutes, Arnav will give you a written warning, and at 4 minutes, he will give you a verbal warning. After that, I will be asking you rebuttal, so you won't be able to present after that. Please don't read out what's there in the slide. Only tell me what type of points you want to elaborate on. Okay? And I might not be looking at you during the presentation. That's because I'm writing down questions to ask you during the rebuttal. Okay? All right, whenever you're ready, you can start presenting.
sure.
All right.
Just let us know when we can start.
Yeah. So you'll start.
Yeah.
Can you get see my screen?
Yep, you're good to go.
Yeah,
All right.
visible, Madam.
Just give me a sec.
Yeah, just start.
All right, we'll start.
Okay, we'll be starting. Okay, so let's talk about how we can start strategies for the welfare of our employees. So one of our main strategies is because employee safety. This is one of our number one priority. We'll be providing them safety kits to make sure that they're ensured of their safety. Second, we'll be providing counseling as well to our employees in case they face any trauma. And also we'll be having we'll provide incentives which are both monetary and non-monetary. Monetary in the sense we'll having more paid leaves and paid leaves. Next, we have the criteria for the eligibility to open prisons. So first of all, the previous records. Previous records include their records for previous crimes as well as their previous records in other prisons. So depending upon their behavior, we'll be deciding if they're eligible for the open prison. Other one is book time. Book time is an initiative we want to start, especially where the more number of self-development books or inmate reads, the more chance they have to get into open prison. Last one being non-violent crimes. Most non-violent crimes will be incorporated into open prisons, and that's it. And then next we have security measures. Security measures. So first of all, as previously mentioned, we have security gears for all the prison employees, regardless, and also we'll have 24/7 CCTV surveillance to make sure everything is functioning safely.
Next one is training and development for inmates. So basically, earn money the right way means to show the prisoners that there's a way that they can earn money without performing any illegal activities. Like within the prison itself, they could work in the kitchen and earn money. They could work in the library and earn money. They could work in the agricultural area in the prison, which provides vegetables and such for the kitchen and earn money there as well. So there can be also a sports area where they can improve their health, and also they can conduct various sports activities and competitions with proper surveillance of the staffs. And there also will be book time where in the library they'll be able to read and increase their knowledge. So next one is code of conduct.
Yeah, so for code of conduct, we'll have a zero violence tolerance policy where any form of violence by an inmate will not allow them to go into the open cells. Next, we have no discrimination. Any form of discrimination will not be tolerated in the whole of the prison. And we'll have the similar uniforms for all inmates showing unity.
So facilities to ensure nourishment, healthcare, and sanitation. So proper staffs would be allocated for sanitation as well, and there will be sufficient medical healthcare facilities and staffs in the open prison. And proper and good quality healthy food will be available for the staffs and prisoners as well. So next one is budget allocation. So the budget which we are requesting and which we found out we needed is 10 crores, in which 45% would go through security and 55 through operations. Next one is the organizational structure. So the prison director would be the top person, which followed by 2 wardens, and under the wardens there would be the security staff, training staff, and the helping staff. The training staff are the staffs which is included in the training and welfare of the prisoners, while the helping staff would be the medical staff and sanitary staffs, and security staffs are all the staffs which will take care of the whole prison and make sure the prison is running smoothly. Thank you.
Yes. That was it from the presentation.
Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So first is paid leaves. Okay, let's go to that. You said that you're gonna have more paid leaves. So let's say you have 10 10 prisoners to one guard ratio, okay? And one of your guards is like, okay, I want a paid leave today. Are you going to, like, what's going to happen? Are you going to reallocate the prisoners to other guards, or what's going to happen?
First of all, we make sure we have sufficient amount of backup as well. But in case we do not have that as well, yes, we will have to reallocate them to other guards. But we
Okay,
make sure that
see,
we don't have overburden the guards.
aren't you essentially putting pressure on other guards then? Like, let's say you're calling back a guard who, this is a difficult job, right? It is a hard job at the end of the day, and it is depressing. Nobody wants to be in a prison no longer than they have to. So if you're going to ask someone to work overtime, aren't you essentially pressurizing them? It's not like you're going to have 3 sets of guards for 3 separate days or 4 separate days. That's like a lot of unwanted, like, I don't want to say waste, but that's a lot of resource waste.
Yes,
See, like
but
in an organization, there would be different working hours. Like not a single employee
I
won't be working the
understand, but
entire day.
but still, I'm saying if the morning staff says, I don't want to do it, and you call the evening staff, isn't that essentially overburdening someone?
See, first of all, we won't be simply giving out free leaves or
Then why are you
simply
promising
simply
that to
take a day
your
off.
employees? Then that should
We are
not even be in
promising
your slide.
incentives. We're not promising to give them free day offs as well. There should be a proper reason to why they need the day off. If it's
Maybe they
genuine
want to
reason,
have a
then we
mental
will
health day. Maybe maybe they want to have a mental health day. Maybe they have passport work to do. You can't have separate leaves just because you can't deem that something is more important than their personal needs, right? At the end of the day, you want them to put themselves first by taking care of their mental health so they can help others, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand where the problem lies?
See,
yes, but the
we
thing
have to
is,
provide them with proper incentives, but that doesn't mean they can simply take leaves. Unless the reasons are redeemed to be like
Dude, if
genuine,
you give
in
them
a way
leaves,
we
they
can't.
can take leaves. If you give them leaves, they can take it. It's their right to
Yeah,
take it.
yeah,
Do you
they can take that, but
understand?
it's limited amount of leaves, right? So I'm pretty sure even they would make sure to not simply waste leaves and take it only when they really need it.
Okay, see, you're legally supposed to give them how many leaves? At least 5 leaves?
Yeah.
PTOs. Okay, we were just going to say PTOs. At least 5 PTOs. Actually, more. You're not supposed to give only 5. Especially in a high stress job like this, if you want to increase it to, say, 10, maybe, right? That's still a lot of days. Maybe they don't want to take it at
but
the
the
end of
thing
the
is,
year.
yeah, but the thing is, if when one employee does take their leave, the other employee will put double
Okay,
the
you're
effort.
coming
But
back to the
there
point
also
where I
can
said
be the
it's
same
like you're
employee
putting the pressure
will
on
have to take the
someone
leave.
else. Okay, let's move on. Okay, self-help books, right? Many times people find a lot of self-help in reading fiction. There are many books, like, for example, a lot of people find a Palace of Illusions. It's a, literary fiction. They find that extremely helpful more than reading, Running on Empty, which is a psychology self-help book, right? So why are you going to value if somebody is eligible because of the number of self-help books they read? They can read Tinkle for all you want, and that might be helping them.
What we want to do is make sure that the books they read help them when they get out of prison. That is, they help them do
So then
jobs
why is
and
it in your
help them
eligibility
earn
slide?
more money, and therefore the self-help books in a sense also books which will help them understand the world better, especially, and help them get jobs when they are
No,
out,
that's a
out.
very, very narrow view, and you're actually restricting the capabilities of someone to grow by your own prejudice. That is
See,
just what I
the
think of
book
it.
time is
Now
just a
let's
small
move
part of
on.
the criteria. It is not the main
It's
part.
still a
The other parts are like
criteria.
more
It's still
important.
a
Like especially,
criteria. It's
yeah, it is
still a
it's just a
criteria.
criteria to evaluate like more extensively. Like the main criteria are the
It
non-violent
shouldn't
crimes.
be. See, the thing is, the entire point of a criteria is, like, I have 5 criterias right now to judge you on, right? I can't say this is more, this is just another criteria. A little 1 mark in that criteria is still going to add towards the difference between you and the next team, right? Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm getting at? It's still a criteria. Now, what is your healthcare professional ratio to prisoners?
So healthcare professional to prisoners, we are thinking of making it as 10 is to 1 as well.
10
Your
is to
time for
1.
rebuttal is up.
All right, okay. Thank you so much, guys. So a little bit of a feedback. Firstly, are you guys okay?
Is the slide visible?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the welfare of our employees, our first thing is to provide them theoretical and practical training. We will be providing them training such as security, technology, checking up on the prisoners, etc. So now we'll have the employees have a physical training every once a week. There will also be a medical department ready 24/7 with a regular counselor, and employees will also be given an open room to take rest, and there will also be an open door for employees where they can come to their superiors and talk about what they feel, or like if they have any problems, they can come to the superiors anytime.
So the eligibility for convicts to be given open prisons would be, firstly, there will be a point system, which means that every time a convict does something which violates a certain code, they'll be given negative points, and when it reaches a certain benchmark, they'll have to be moved back. And then the prisoners will be divided into classes. What this means is that any prisoner who has like a bad criminal record, or they're bad characters and they might exercise bad influence, so they'll be divided on such basis, and proper treatment will be given according to that. And evaluation system is, of course, like checking their past history to see if the inmates can be trusted, is also an important eligibility criteria.
Okay, and as I told earlier, employees will be given training in aspect and many orders to keep themselves safe. There will be 24 hours watch on surveillance camera, a security guard in every corner, and double fences on the perimeter of the prison. Now, if there are any loopholes found, there'll be constant updates, and there'll be staff analysis to ensure that the staff is in their right mind in order to work.
The facilities for nourishment would be to make sure that a meal plan is set up in such a way that the right nutritions are given. So an average adult meal requires around 2000 calories, so making sure this is being met up. Healthcare facilities would be met through having an in-house physician to treat the general diseases, tying up with a medical institute for treatments for diseases like diabetes, and again a mental health officer will be set up for inmates as well. Sanitization will be made sure through having an in-house facility 24/7 for housekeeping, and proper management for wastewater and medical waste. And proper facilities will be made for women and girls, like to make sure that mothers have facilities for proper to take care of their babies and young children, and proper hygiene facilities for them.
Okay, now as for the budget will be raised through government and even large corporations. Now the allocation of the government budget will be done in HR budget, recruitment costs, hiring costs, training costs, salaries, and benefits.
The training and development opportunities will be provided to inmates through, so we plan on partnering up with government institutes so they can come in and bring in vocational courses, bring in their expertise in different courses, so that the inmates have knowledge about different things. Other events will be set up, like in sports fields, so we'll have like inmates play a few matches every few months, have some art events for them to take part in, and certificates will be provided to inmates once they're done with any course. So when they end up rejoining society, they'll have knowledge and they'll have proper certifications to get into the society again.
As for the code of conduct, prisoners shall be allowed necessary supervision to communicate with their families, and special attention shall be paid to the maintenance and improvement of such relations. So when the prisoners are being removed, it'll be made sure that there's like a little time of them outside, and that there are proper safeguards. Also, it'll be compulsory for the prisoners to recreate themselves by participating in football tournaments or be a part of school or a college.
Yeah. Then the organizational
Your
structure.
time for presentation is up.
Okay, perfect. This is the organizational structure. That's it. We're done.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. So, how will you? Okay. Can you go back to the first slide?
Sure. 1 minute.
First of all, you said training, right? So, what type of training are you going to be giving in terms of skills to the employees?
We'll be giving them trainings to use, like, if there's any restraintment from the prisoner, they'll have to use force in case to stop them. Then it'll be about, of course, how to manage a group of people, a group of prisoners, and of course,
So you're saying you're going to teach them when to use force?
No, not just exactly that,
yes.
but to add to what Aditi said, we'll also provide them training on, how to, proper record keeping and reporting, how to,
Okay, so
use security
give me some
technology.
instances when you think violence is necessary for a prisoner. Like when for a prison guard to exercise violence, what is one thing what scenario you deem as okay?
If two inmates are having a fight and it's getting out of hand and both are not ready to listen to the guards, both may be attacking the guard, this is when
Okay, so you're
physical
saying defense is all right, no offense.
defense is all right in certain instances only.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you said something about a point system, right? Can you tell me
Yes.
how exactly are you going to track the point system? Like what type of bad behavior gets what type of minus?
Okay, so you know how a lot of prisoners engage in contrabands and dealing with such things. So such things will have certain points, especially like each item will have a certain point given to it. And like if again inmates getting in fights with each other, this will be extremely frowned upon. Inmates getting in fight with the guards, arguing with the guards, this will also have bad points to it. If inmates do not take part in vocational courses, don't try to improve themselves,
Don't try
these
to
will have
take part in vocational courses. What if they don't want to take part in vocational course? Maybe they just want to sit in the prison because they're depressed. How would that be a point deduction?
No,
the
because
reason
every
why.
prisoner, they look forward in growing different from what they were
Not really.
before.
So a prisoner can feel depressed because of multiple things that might happen within the prison, within his mind, because of his crime, right?
And
And
that's why we
sometimes he might not want to get out of bed. Sometimes he
that's
will only
so
go
see,
through the motions of a normal prisoner.
yeah, I understand what you're saying, and that's why we've also set up someone known as the officer mental health for inmates as well. This is a
So
person
how many
who
mental health ratio, I mean, what's the ratio of the mental health workers to prisoners?
it would be around like let's say 5 to every 12 prisoner.
5
5
to every
to
12. So
5 to every 15 maybe. Because see,
wait,
making sure
1 is to what? 1 is to 12 or 15?
1 is to 12.
1
One
is
mental
to
health
12.
officer per 12 officer per
Okay,
12.
so how long do you think a counseling session would like? How long do you think is a counseling session going to be for 1 hour, right? So
It's really
essentially,
on a personal basis. See, we cannot completely determine how. See, every mental health situation is different. Every inmate is going to be different. So it really just depends. It all comes down to that. So it's very hard to specifically say that. Oh,
so are you
one
going to
inmate.
have full time? How many full time mental health workers are you going to have in your prison?
Around 2, 3.
And
And
they are
along with
going to
that,
start.
as well.
Yeah, the staff will always be present.
So okay, I don't think any prisoner is going to go to your guard with a gun and talk about his feelings. But
Not
okay,
hard.
2 to 3 makes sense. How are you going to bring in the other mental health workers? You said something about a drive or something.
Yeah, so see, because we'll have a lot of government support in this prison, so we hope to aim to bring like healthcare facilities tie-ups from these medical institutes and hope they like
Okay, a
we
little question, one
yeah.
last one. How often are you going to have the staff evaluation that you said you're going to evaluate their staff analysis or something you pointed out? Yeah, so how often are we going to have that?
We'll try to do it regularly and make sure
And what
that
is
we're all
regularly? Give me a
sorry?
time. What is
Every 3 months.
regularly? Every 3 months is regularly.
No, I mean, I would like to
Yeah,
say that.
uh, every 3 months is your the mandatory staff feedback taken, and other than that the door is always open. They can always come talk to supervisors because having an
Do
evaluate
you
having
understand that basically a prison breeds masculine toxicity? Like you understand that they have to feel butch because a lot of prisoners, are very aggressive. They say a lot of profanities. There's a lot of things going on within the prison that can make them not really act like a corporate employee. They have special circumstances.
Yeah, which is why we'll also be providing the employees with a regular counselor, and we like so they can always come up to. They also have an open space where they can talk about anything they want to, and yeah, and
And
then
the
of
time
course like
for
there'll be an
rebuttal is
open
up.
door to the
All
superiors.
right. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. So let's. I'm gonna give you.
All right. With that, we come to the end of the human resources finale of Insight 2022. We thank all of the viewers, and we hope you had a fun time looking at the rounds and understanding the solutions that the participants suggested. We really look forward to bringing you to the future events of Insight 2022, and let's hope it all goes well. Thank you.